Hello and good evening, and welcome to the Thursday edition of the Irish Bulls Mafia and the Shed. Hashtag Irish Bulls Mafia with me, Trevor. You're very welcome along. And this Thursday edition, I have some wonderful news I'm going to tell you for myself. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm also going to go through my week 5 picks, excuse me, and who I think is going to win. It's a 14 game week this weekend, whereas the last 4 weeks before we're all 16 games, so 4 teams have their first bye. It's early in the season, but it'll benefit some teams with injuries and stuff. And then a few other little bits and bobs afterwards. So I'm delighted you're here, and I hope you enjoy the show. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to talk about the games first, and then I'll reveal my news. That is, for me, is absolutely huge and an honor. And then I'll talk about any other little bits and bobs after that. So anyway, you're very welcome along to the show. So tonight we have game week 5 starting in the NFL. The first game tonight is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Buccaneers are 3-1, in victory last weekend over the Philadelphia Eagles, where the Falcons are 2-2. And I heard the commentator say today, Falcons could have been 4-0 games they've played, and they could have been 0-4 because all games have been tight and gone down to the end. Last weekend, they had a last minute field goal victory over the New Orleans Saints. So, as you can see, their games are very tight as they've played. Tonight's game, and at it, it's the games are getting very hard to call because you're waiting for teams to click into gear that should be clicking into gear, and they should be by now. And then there's teams you're going, well, are they going to fall out of you know, the race? Have they reached too soon, or are they just playing so well and other teams aren't? And you look at both teams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are the defending NFC South champions. And they are the team where, in my head, they've had third going into this year. Not because they are bad or anything like that, just because I think at the start of the season that with all the Falcons have invested in Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. as their quarterbacks. Then they have Bijan Robinson, Michael Pitt, who are crying out for a quarterback to throw them the ball, uh, you know, amongst others, that they were the team that was going to kick and get into gear. Had the New Orleans Saints, where I thought would be second, where Derek Carr's second season that the Saints would push on and Salavi and Mara would produce, and they did at points. So I wouldn't have had the Buccaneers flying the way they are, but they're there. Baker Mayfield, uh, Godwin, um, wide receivers, they are on fire, as is the rest of their team. So who do I pick? It's very hard because I'm waiting for the Falcons to kick into gear. And now they're going to kick into gear tonight, or as the Buccaneers, who against the Lions got destroyed in their offensive line, which they still managed to find a victory, and destroyed by the Broncos, and they lost. That was their only loss this season. But again, Baker Mayfield got sacked so many times. Last weekend was better against the Eagles, and they had a dominating win. Are they going to continue it on? For me, this weekend, just on form so far this season, and not on what the teams can do, I'm going to go for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm back at Baker. So we'll see how the Thursday night football goes. Then we have our first London game this weekend. It's the New York Jets at Minnesota Vikings at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now the Jets are 2-2 and the Vikings are 4-0. This is a very hard game to call because I know from being a Bills fan last year, when the Bills travelled to London, they travelled 2 days before the game and still jet lagged. Where the Jaguars were there for a week. They played the game, well, 2 weeks. They played the game the week before. And on paper, we should have beaten the Jaguars, but the Jaguars beat us because they were fresher and more acclimatized to the London game. Well, both teams are flying over this week. It's not that one of them are going to be there a week before the other. The last weekend, New York Jets looked pretty ordinary, and there's a lot of rumblings coming out from Salah, head coach, and Rodgers, the quarterback. Are they on the same page or aren't they? Is Rodgers on the same page as Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver? Are they happy with each other? And amongst other things. Whereas the Minnesota Vikings just, for me, fail to tools. They keep going, and Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, and so on are flying. So on form again, I'm going to pick the Minnesota Vikings this weekend. The Jets, I don't know, can they take another defeat this early in the season? Already 2-2. It's a lot of pressure there. Will they be able to cope with it? Will Aaron Rodgers be able to produce the form he used to years ago on the field? Will Sam Darnold continue on? The question. But for me, I'm going to stick with the Vikings. They are 4-0, and uh, I'm just going to go with them this weekend. Then we go to the Sunday game. And the Sunday games, the big one for me is the Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. It's more than a game this weekend. It's Stephon Diggs. Is he going to come back and bite us in the backside? Is our defense going to be able to put up and shut him down? Tank Dell, Nico Collins. I know Nixon is injured as running back, but will he come back? Will we be able to stop the running game that we couldn't stop Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson last weekend from destroying us? These are questions. Our offense, we get our offense going like we had a brilliant week against the Jaguars. Now this is a very good Houston defense. Will Anderson Jr. and co is there, but we need to get our offense going, as in not offensive line there doing fine, but get our running backs moving, get our wide receivers catching, tight ends catching, and moving the ball down the field. But for me, it's all about this weekend beating Stephon Diggs. And no disrespect to the Houston Texans, because I admired them. I admired the job that they're doing. I admire CJ Stroud. I think he's an awesome quarterback, and amongst the other names, it's just about beating Stephon Diggs and also getting the victory. For that, Josh Allen and I go Buffalo Bills, because I will walk with Josh no matter what. So Buffalo Bills. The next game then is the Carolina Panthers at the Chicago Bears. Um, Andy Dalton has come in, and he had a loss last weekend against the Bengals, but it wasn't a bad loss. Played well. Um, Bryce Young was out, and Andy Dalton kicked the Panthers into gear. They battered the Raiders 2 weeks before that, got them the first victory of the season. The Chicago Bears are 2-2. Um, they are not as what you would call a team clicking, even though Caleb Williams is improving. And it's a very hard game to call, because you want to see more of what Andy Dalton Panthers is going to be like compared to the Bryce Young Panthers. Because if it was Bryce Young that was playing, it was an easy call. And there's no disrespect to Bryce, it's just the way the team was set up for him, and how it was going. For that, I'm at home. They need to kick on if they're going to keep up the other three teams in the division. So I'm going to go for the Chicago Bears. Then we have a mouth-watering game at the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. And this game has so much on it. The Baltimore Ravens are after coming off a huge victory against us last weekend. Um, Offense was on fire. Lamar Jackson, Henry, were absolutely beating us out the gate, and we have to accept that and get on and learn from it. The the Cincinnati Bengals, they are 1-3. This is a divisional game, so it's worth double points, if you know what I mean. And also, if they went to 1-4 and the Ravens went 3-2, and by some way the Steelers win, that'll be talking about earlier, it would be the Steelers at 4-1 and them at 1-4. So Joe Burrow and the Bengals, Zach Taylor's under fierce pressure. At 1-4, I don't think they can take that. Saying that, Baltimore Ravens are in better form. They beat Dallas fairly well, beat us very well. We're lucky to lose to Kansas. And again, they were lucky to lose to the Raiders, even though the Raiders did deserve to win on that day. I am going for the Baltimore Ravens in this game. Then we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Peterson is under fierce pressure. The Colts had a great victory last weekend. They're 2-2. Jaguars are 0-4. Trevor Lawrence isn't playing well, even though he did push the Texans and his team last weekend very close, but they didn't get the job done. And because of that, for the Colts, even though Joe Flacco will be their quarterback, probably. I don't know if Anthony Richardson is cleared yet to play or not, but Michael Pittman Jr. is awesome. He's You can throw him anything. He's like Keel Skier. He'll catch it and hold on to it. And they have weapons, running back and wide receivers and tight ends that whichever quarterback Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco plays, they can hit. And for that, I'm going to the Indianapolis Colts. Then we have the 1-3 Miami Dolphins, who thought we'd be saying that, against the 1-3 New England Patriots. Now, we don't know yet, is Tyler Huntley going to be the quarterback for the Dolphins this weekend, or are they going to play anyone else? And the New England Patriots, they're surprisingly, they're a 1-3 that could have been the loss of Seahawks in overtime. And Jets did beat them well, but last weekend they were 2-4 with the 49ers. Now the 49ers never looked like losing it, but they didn't disgrace themselves. Miami Dolphins got humbled by the Titans last weekend. A Will Levis Titans. And, you know, I thought he has played quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens and had them in the playoffs and played in the playoffs when Lamar Jackson was injured. I thought having the weapons like Tyreek Hill and James Waddle and Cole, that they destroyed the Titans and they didn't. And I don't know. I just can't see them beating the Patriots this weekend. The Patriots have a good defense. And if you don't have a quarterback that can bring the ball like Tua could for them, I can't back against the Patriots. Now, don't get me wrong, the Dolphins could go up and win 25-0 or something like that, or 27-0 or something. But I'm just going to go for the Patriots this weekend just on their defense. Their defense, I think, could stop Miami, and if they can, Jacoby Brissett and Cole might be able to do enough to get the victory. So I'm going to go for the Patriots. Then we have the Cleveland Browns with the Washington Commanders. 1-3 Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski, it has to be feeling the pressure. His quarterback isn't working, it's not going well. Their offensive line isn't working, even though they have some injuries in it. The class defense isn't living up to its name this year so far. And they're playing a Jaden Daniels Washington Commanders that's absolutely flying. And the last two games I went against them, they won, beat the Bengals. And again, last weekend they had a great victory too against the Arizona Cardinals. Absolutely destroyed them. And this weekend I'm going for the Washington Commanders. And Jaden Daniels, Gordon and Co are flying. The Browns, their offensive line kind of keep Deshaun Watson on his feet, and its Commanders will go at them and break them down. And for that, I'm going to go for the Washington Commanders. Then we have the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Another divisional game. Another game that's two teams are both 2-2. Very hard call. Bo Nix got his team over the line last weekend at the New York Jets, which was a brilliant victory, but it was 10-9. It wasn't, world beaten. They did beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the Sunday before and they beat them well. Whereas the Las Vegas Raiders and Gardner Minshew has been limping the team. He just played good spells and bad spells, and it's very hard to know what you're going to get. The Broncos are at home, and the only reason I'm going for the Broncos is because they're at home. That game is a toss of a coin. The Broncos could win it, the Raiders could win it. Max Crosby, we don't know if he's going to be back or not. And then, as I'll be talking at the end of my video, Devontae Adams, he has requested a trade. Well, he's requested a trade after the team said they were open to a trade. So he probably won't be playing. And if he is playing, how interested he will be in playing if he is. So I'm going to go for the Broncos in that. Then we have the Arizona Cardinals and San Francisco 49ers. The Cardinals started the year off against themselves, and their first half they were awesome. They got into the game and controlled it when we tweaked things and beat them. The second game, they absolutely destroyed the opposition in that game. and got their victory, and they looked very, very good. And I thought they were going to kick on, and it happened. They've had two more defeats since. Whereas the San Francisco 49ers hit and miss. They got a good win against the Patriots last weekend. They have Brock Purdy seems to be back fit, even though he didn't miss any games. George Kittle is back, and Deebo Samuel is back. Now their huge loss is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is going to be out. We don't know how long because he's got um, Achilles tendonitis in both legs, and not one leg, in both. So they have to watch him. They have to mind him, and they'll need him more for the back end of the season. Um, and Marvin Harrison Jr. uh, get back into gear, and can Kyler Murray click, and can the Cardinals offense move, because the 49ers defense is on fire at the minute. Last weekend they were awesome against the New England Patriots. And for that, I'm going to go for the San Francisco 49ers to win this game. Then we have another game that's very hard call, because the team, we don't know if they're clicking or this is them, is the Green Bay Packers at the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Packers lost only by 2 points to the Minnesota Vikings last weekend. Jordan Love is back as their quarterback. First half, he was very rusty, and I think that's what cost them the game. The second half, he clicked into gear, and they were a different team, and the Packers really pushed the Vikings, but the Vikings had enough done to win. Los Angeles Rams are 1-3, and I thought they were 2-2 at best. But their win was against the 49ers, which was, a big win. McVay is still missing some key part components, and the Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua. And we don't know when they're going to be back. And when they come back, they'll take time to adjust back into the system. Matthew Stafford is doing his best with what he has, but he's missing his guys. And for that, I'm going to go for the Green Bay Packers to win this game. Then we have the New York Giants, and they get at the Seattle Seahawks. Now, at the beginning of the season, I thought the Giants might be 2-2, maybe 3-1, because there is awful pressure on Brian Dable, and they got Malik Neighbors, and Daniel Jones was supposed to be improving because he had Malik Neighbors and someone to throw to, and it's not worked. And I think, from what I gather, that Daniel Jones will be benched this weekend, and if he is, they're basically saying their season's over, because the backup quarterback wasn't the number one pick. So you're just saying, I'm giving up. Now we'll see will Daniel Jones play or not. The Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith is flying 1. I think they'll be 4-1 at the end of this weekend. Surprise packet for me, because I didn't think they'd be doing this well, but they are. And I'm going to go for the Seattle Seahawks this weekend. 2 games to go. It's the 2-2 Dallas Cowboys at the 3-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Last weekend, the Pittsburgh Steelers, their defense didn't turn up. What cost them the game against the Colts, their state. And it was surprising, because their defense have been outstanding this year. Dallas Cowboys don't have a defense, but the Steelers' offense is one that you like. Justin Fields played very well last weekend. George Pickens was okay. They need more. And again, there might be a wide receiver en route to them, if stories are true, but I'll talk about that in a few minutes, because he's linked with other teams too. The Dallas Cowboys, they didn't want Derrick Henry, and they need a running back, because Ezekiel Elliott isn't doing the job. The one person you can't lay blame on this year for the Cowboys being 2-2 is Dak Prescott. He's not at fault. Defense isn't there, their offensive line isn't there, their running game isn't there, and Dak Prescott is not responsible for any of that. He is finding CD Lamb, but Cooks, I think, is injured this weekend. So if Mark CD Lamb, then what else has he just wrote to? And for that, I'm going for the Pittsburgh Steelers this game. Then the Monday night game is the New Orleans Saints at the Kansas City Chiefs. New Orleans Saints set the world on fire in the first 2 games, and have come a crop with the last 2. The Kansas City Chiefs are 4-0 and not playing well, just ticking along. And now Rashid Rice is gone, but you can't write them off. And for that, I'm not writing them off. You have Mahomes and you have Travis Kelce, and even though he's not setting the word of light, he will get ball and he will move it. and move the chains, and Mahomes can do anything when he is that. You have Xavier Worthy, their rookie wide receiver. You have Chris Jones in the defense, and again, he's not playing to his top potential, but he's still playing and doing enough, so you can't write them off. And for that, I'm going for the Kansas City Chiefs. And they're my picks for this weekend. Um, Last weekend was better; it was 9-7. Um, so the competition is going well. I'm well down the table unofficially because I'm not in it. I see where I am compared to the rest of them. But the top guys in our division are on 39. At the minute, I'm on 32, and I'm 17th in the list. So there's nothing between the 7 games, and you can turn around very quick. But it is a tight competition so far. So now I'm going to come to my news. This is news that I never thought I would ever be saying, but there's a story. Now, I'm not going to tell the whole story because it would take up the video. And people I know are the ones that know the whole story. Last year, we were in London, and there was a privilege to be at a game in Tottenham to see the Bills play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Never thought I'd see the Buffalo Bills play in the story because I'm not a traveller. But we went because it was probably my only chance of seeing them. And as you can see, around my room, corner of the shed, I have my memories from London, amongst other things. But we met this couple on the street. I was wearing my Irish Bills Mafia hoodie, Mark and Kate Schroeder, and we were talking to them for about 20, 25 minutes. And I was telling them about my love for the Bills and so on. And we got a picture taken, and I'm going to post the picture up on social media in a few days' time. But anyway, as time went on, they sent me the picture, and lovely, and so on. Facebook. And when I joined Facebook, they contacted me and they asked me, would I be interested? Kate contacted me and asked me, would I be interested in going to a game? I did price the game earlier in the year, see the Cardinals, and unfortunately, it's out of my league. But following people, I'm going to thank, and I'm going to tell you what they're for. So, Mark and Kate Schroeder, Maxwell Murphy Law Firm, Ellicott Development Company, Michael Mead and Sullivan Brewing, Eric Bowen and Tim Flanagan from the Buffalo Irish Centre. These people have come together and are sponsoring me to go to Buffalo to see the Buffalo Bills take on the Tennessee Titans on the 20th of October. They looked after the airfare, the hotel, tickets, and a welcoming party. And I couldn't do about it. And Kate is my contact. So Kate is the one that's doing everything and looking after everything for me. And I want to thank her and Mark for their support and everything for organising this and all the other sponsors that are there. It is absolutely huge. I find out the Thursday before the game and I'm coming back on the Tuesday. So to be honest, it won't be a Thursday video or a Tuesday video, but I will be putting up stuff when I get home from Buffalo. It's a dream come true. I never thought I'd be ever seen Highmark Stadium, seen Josh Allen play in Highmark Stadium, the Buffalo Bills play in the Highmark Stadium. And these people, thank you very much, have made it possible. So I'm buzzing, I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm looking forward to it. I'm everything in a happy way. And thank you very much for making this dream come true for me. So it's only 2 weeks away. So countdown is on, getting things ready and organized and so on. And it's something that really, really I am looking forward to. Josh Allen, Highmark Stadium, before the stadium itself is being closed down in 2 years' time. In 2026, there'll be a new one. Just to be part of that history, as you can see in the corner, my Highmark stadium back up as well. So it's something, I'm really, really put into words how excited I am about it. So thank you, folks. It is a dream come true, and I really appreciate it. So the last thing I'll talk about tonight is a few bits of news. So as I was talking about Christian McCaffrey earlier, and the San Francisco 49ers. Bills this week, they signed from the Falcons practice squad a defensive tackle, Zion Lowe. He's a sixth-round draft pick from this year's draft, and he's coming in because we are very stretched on that particular position at the minute. So he's a big, strong man. So hopefully he came from Georgia College, and so it can't be bad from Georgia Bulldogs. So wish him well and welcome to the team, and hopefully he'll help us. Devontae Adams. The question is, where is he going? From what I heard this week, he's asked for a trade because the Raiders said they're open to a trade, so something is wrong there in the scenes. But the Dallas Cowboys have been linked, even though they said they couldn't afford Derrick Henry, which would be a lot cheaper for a year. The Baltimore Ravens have been linked. Zay Flowers and himself could be a huge thing. But the teams that seem to be more linked to him are the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets. He did play with Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, and they connected very well. But on a normal thing, he might be going to the Jets, but because Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers don't seem to be getting on too well, this could be something that may not happen. But they think in America that that's where he's going to go. Time will tell. We will see. I do see Buffalo Bills people put up stuff for him coming to us. If he did, we'd welcome him. But to be honest, I'm happy with what we have. We have wide receivers that are learning the game. This might sound wrong. I didn't do to lose or ever to lose, but we needed to bring our feet back down to earth from Jacksonville game because we were flying. I was flying myself. It was brilliant. It was almost perfect. But it's too early. If it was going into the playoffs or the first week of the playoff and you did that, then yeah, drive on. Baltimore brought us down to earth, and now we have to regroup. We have to show our mid up, and we have to go to Houston this Sunday. And we have to put in a performance, and we have to win. I do believe we have the guys that can do it. We have the coach that can do it, coaches that can do it, and we have the players that can do it. Let's just get our attitude and our game right, and no trick plays, and do the things that were winning us the game before and do them well. So that's my video for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, it's a video that I've had great news to bring, and bring come true news for me, and I'm so grateful and thankful. And looking forward to the football this weekend, and I said it's only 2 weeks away this weekend, and I'll be in Buffalo and Highmark Stadium watching Bills play. And it's thanks to a beautiful, wonderful bunch of people, and I am so grateful to them. So that's my video for tonight, folks. Look, thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful, safe, and happy weekend. And please God, we get all the results that we're looking for. And until Tuesday, as always, we're grateful.